Hey everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. I have some updates to share about Russia's attack on Ukraine. First, potentially the biggest news, which I haven't seen reported by mainstream media, so take this with a grain of salt. But according to the New York Post, Putin has cancer and he's going to be undergoing surgery soon. And as with all other countries, someone else is going to have to assume control temporarily of the country. Now, like I said, take it with a grain of salt. We all know the New York Post is not the most reliable source of news, but if this is true, this could really change the calculus about the war. As I said a while back, he does look to me like someone at the end of life. And if he believes that it's over, then that could have been the impetus for this war to begin with. And most importantly, he might feel that, oh, if I have nothing to lose, if I'm going to go, I'm going to take everyone else with me. That's what a narcissistic and sadistic sociopath like Putin would do. And this would completely reframe the narrative about this horrific conflict and how it might end or how to end it, because even some of my fellow progressives believe that, Putin just felt threatened by NATO's expansion. And if you can just give him some sort of reassurances, he'll back off. He'll take, more of Ukraine's land, maybe, but then he'll call it a day. But what if Putin has stage 4 cancer? That would mean there's no appeasing him. And he likely plans to keep expanding this war into neighboring countries. Or, perhaps he's trying to provoke NATO allies into striking first so that he can go down in history as a martyr. So this is a big deal. I hope U.S. intelligence really knows what's going on if this is true, because it really can affect everything. Anyway, as for the U.S., the House of Representatives has approved an additional $40 billion aid package for Ukraine. And that bill will now go to the Senate, where it's also expected to pass. President Biden has also signed a Lend-Lease Act for Ukraine, which essentially, in a nutshell, it just speeds up the process of providing assistance to Ukraine. In regard to the war itself, Russia has now bombarded the port city of Odessa with missiles, and they've been also targeting supply lines and steel mills in Ukraine. And that's to try to wipe out some of the weapons and some of the other, items that are coming from the West. We also now know why it's been so difficult to locate some of his oligarchs' assets, because according to the Washington Post, Putin warned 36 businessmen in advance of his invasion of Ukraine. So they all had time to squirrel everything away. And it's also being reported that more and more of his inner circle fear for his deteriorating mental health. They fear that, his declining mental health poses a, quote, very real threat of nuclear war. And it was also just reported that more than 100 Ukrainian children were killed in just the month of April alone. We're also hearing more almost daily about dissent among Russian troops. According to calls intercepted by Ukrainian intelligence, Russian troops are now sharing tips with each other about how to sabotage the war. In one alleged call, a Russian soldier said that they were pouring sand into their tanks' fuel systems. Another intercepted call, alleged intercepted call between a soldier and his family, revealed that his unit was purposely damaging their last remaining tank. And they did it to stop a planned attack. And Russian troops have also started asking for donations on social media. You guys may have seen this. They were sharing photos side by side of their pathetic first aid kits compared to the Ukrainians. So the Russian first aid kit appeared to contain only an instruction manual and a tourniquet, whereas the Ukrainian soldiers are supplied with a bunch of different tools. And they have scissors, an intubation tube, they have all kinds of stuff. But it's not just Russian troops that are purportedly complaining, because according to the Daily Beast, there were, quote, soldiers from the breakaway state of South Ossetia rattled off a list of complaints about faulty equipment, lack of leadership and intel, and brainless tactics. So these soldiers were sent to fight on behalf of Russia. This is due to a 2017 agreement between their two countries. But their troops are saying that they were, quote, deceived at every step. And one said, quote, of the 11 days, I wouldn't even wish on an enemy what happened there. All the equipment didn't work. I'm telling you straight, there was no command staff. Another fighter said, quote, the artillery mortar for the mortar gunners didn't work. The legs were all crooked. And in another unit, he said, quote, 99% of the equipment didn't work. And then they also complained that their commanders were disappearing every time the fighting would begin. And they said that one commander was afraid of his own men. And then eventually he was beaten by a special forces soldier. And when asked if they believed if Russia would lose the war, one of the fighters said, quote, yes, we believe they will lose. And as poorly as Putin is treating his troops on the battlefield, he's treating the deceased troops horrifically. There was an intercepted call by the Ukrainian government, and they overheard someone saying that Russia is transporting their dead soldiers back to Russia in the middle of the night. And, quote, they're bringing them in small packs so that people don't freak out. And the Russian soldier relaying this information said that by the time the bodies were reaching Russia, they were so decomposed sometimes that they were unrecognizable. It was also just reported that Russians dumped their deceased soldiers in a mass grave in Donetsk. This was in another intercepted call between two Russians. It was a man, and he was explaining to this woman how one of their missing friends had finally been found in a mass grave. And he said that's, quote, as tall as a person, fenced off, sealed, they don't let anyone in. And then the man said that the only reason that they were able to locate their friend was because his sister paid, quote, good money. And he went on to say, quote, it's not a morgue, it's a dump. They are bringing by the thousands. And he said that the Russian government is just telling the families that their loved ones are missing rather than taking these troops home. And now it's being reported that they're charging these families to, quote unquote, find them. So they're making money from the families, allegedly, saying that these troops are missing when they know damn well that that's not the case, that they're lying in a mass grave. And according to recent Ukrainian figures, approximately 26,000 Russian troops have now perished. But Russia is saying to its citizens that it's only about 1,300. So tragically, their incompetence and their lies aren't saving Ukrainians, though. It's been revealed that the bombing at that children's theater that I mentioned a while back was way more tragic than previously known. The Associated Press estimates that 600 people died in that bombing. And, this is despite the Russian allegation that the theater was being used as a military base. And the AP's investigation completely debunked that lie. They say that more than 1,000 civilians were inside that theater, including pregnant women and families with young children. It's so disturbing. So Russian citizens are, already feeling the consequences, but apparently it's going to get worse in their economic life because according to a leaked Kremlin finance ministry document, Russia's economy is expected to contract by up to 12% this year. So economists say that 12% is going to wipe out all of the growth that they've had over the last 10 years. And Russian citizens are still doing what they can to dissent, the ones who've had their eyes open. They're trying to spread the word. So during Russia's big Victory Day celebration, 2 Russian journalists uploaded 40 anti-war articles onto the news website lenta.ru. This is typically used to push Putin's propaganda. They say that this website has a massive audience. It's one of the largest news sites in Russia, and they get over 200 million visitors a month. So the two journalists shared articles with titles like Vladimir Putin lies about Russia's plans in Ukraine, Russia abandons the dead bodies of its troops in Ukraine, and they referred to Putin as a paranoid dictator. So, needless to say, the journalists have fled Russia, and they say that although they're scared, they said, quote, "We couldn't accept this any longer. This was the only right thing to do." And then on that same day that they did this, on Victory Day, smart TVs across Russia were hacked. And instead of showing a grid filled with the various television shows to watch, like we're all used to, Russian citizens saw the message, quote, "The blood of thousands of Ukrainians and hundreds of murdered children is on your hands. TV and the authorities are lying. No to war." That was in every time slot for every channel and every network. That's the message that was displayed for everyone to see. So let's hope it's getting through. Let's hope people are waking up. I don't know what they can do, honestly, with someone like Putin. But, if he is undergoing surgery, now's your chance. Hopefully people are in place. I'm just saying. Did I say that out loud? Whoops. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching and listening. Take care. I'll talk with you soon.